out here, nature has always been my biggest healer. So I'm going to power through. I don't want to be anywhere else but here. I'm going to go let my body have the rest that it needs. And then I'll come back to this task.
Hi, Virgo. All right, welcome to this place. Especially if you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, double especially, welcome back. Speciale. Okay, so Virgo, where do we want to start? I guess Happy New Year and Ways of the Dragon, right? Pretty cool. Wooden dragon. Actually saw someone. You ever done origami? Do you like origami? Paper. Art with paper. Something about that. Alright. Right. Not necessarily like a digital creation. Something has to do with like a material essence of creation. Something becomes more tangible. Oh, this month, if you get stuck in a little bit of a rut, whatever that is, I feel like if a person tells themselves, like, this is fun, like when they're doing it, whatever it may be, you know, this is fun, that is going to shift something. You know, this could be some basic, like, oh, I gotta clean the house. This is fun. You know, feeling a little frustrated about this. This is fun. This is a fun feeling. What can I do with this, right? All right, let's see where you're at right now, Virgo. Oh. It's funny, this card is entitled Night, but to me it looks like the day. Okay, so we're back. Sorry about that. So, your ability to stay chill. Did we mention that? This is also optimism. This is optimism. It's well, you love to help, right? And being conscious and aware, like, oh, what's going on there? Can I do? Let me see what's going on with that. And then checking in and seeing if you can. And sometimes remember there's something like the thing that you can be the most help with, or a part of the way you can help is by your good intention, by your prayer, by like not interacting physically, but interacting spiritually. Does that make sense? Virgo. Give me a second to tune into what I'm feeling, I guess. Let me see. Virgo. I picked some really strong cards for you. These are some of the oldest tarot cards that still exist. It's sort of the first expression of them in an actual purely esoteric way versus it just being a game. You know, like there was a seriousness around it. It wasn't just a game. It can be a game. It can be fun. I guess there are different kinds of games, right? Finite and infinite. Just a second. What's happening here, Virgo? Oh, you're looking at it. Let's, because I'm trying to view it from my perspective. I want to view it from your perspective. So what do you see? I want to see what you see. Okay, going somewhere during the day helps you to come across someone who's going to give you good advice, which will help. Maybe something that was hindering some energy, or like it's a mild blockage. It's not. I see. It's nothing major. Someone has a very close relationship with their, well, there's a very close relationship here. Someone's on their way to something really serious. Good advice is attached to that, which helps. Something about like unforeseen circumstances. Circumstance comes from circumference, and then we have the word stance in it, right? So we're, depends on our point, but there's something where someone can see something that someone else can't. And that helps a lot. So I heard you want to be open to it. Because sometimes I suppose good advice is not exactly what we want to hear. Like maybe what the expectations are. But it can still be very good advice because it can point out something that, again, it's almost like where someone gets stuck on a certain level, right? But I also heard why, if we're talking about different levels, why, well, I guess that goes back to the game. Right, most games have some kind of end to them, some kind of completion, and usually within it there are these little completions, right? Like, oh, okay, I finished, all right, we finished this room, all right, then when we finished this level, now there's new rooms and new levels. This reminds me of the 10-10 reading, Pluto. Just a minute. Oh yeah, you're meant to go to new, there's something about new places. But I don't feel like the desire to move to these new places has to do with like, I want to level up. Like it's not a, an expelling of energy. Like it's not a spell, it's a prayer. Right? There's this softer intention behind it. It's just kind of like, huh, I wonder if I can complete that. Do you know what I mean? And maybe a bit because you do focus on the future a lot. Again, these wider spaces. Don't forget to acknowledge what you, that being is just doing. Being where you are, what you have achieved. There's a time and a place for that, right? We don't live in generation upon generation upon generation ago when we had these different kinds of worries. I heard, remember that psychologically that's ingrained in us, which helps instinctually to deal with things because we don't live in a perfect world, but some of the concern or the expediency, maybe it's part of the criticism. It softens it when we just maybe again accept where we are. And what did we say? Like, oh, this is fun. Like, this is fun to be in here. And I suppose as we're playing many different games at once, Although we can only play one game at a time, but you know, when say you get to a stage and you're like, this isn't fun. Well, what's the other games that you're playing? What are the other things that you can participate with, I guess? If you can't seem to shift the energy for yourself when you're in it. Some of you are also feeling, if you're not in a relationship right now, well, no, you're all, let me back up. Well, person's feeling faithful here. They're not letting the little things, like, get in their head. That's good. If during this month, as we're trying to look at this, let's reel it back in. This month particularly, I guess if there are any mild delays, if you will, I guess you won't be able to ultimately determine something. Because I'm going back into the expectation word. Like, oh, I expected that to happen. Meaning a person thought about, in the sense that a person thought about all the different bits. And it's just like, okay, well, if I do this, then I do that, right? It's almost like a Libra. You're using your neighbor's skill. Or you're like, okay, if I do this, it does that. If I do this, it does that. About, right, figuring it out this way. But there may be something, again, that's unexpected. But I don't feel like... Well, let's see if that's big or small. I mean, the next step is the card that literally says troubles nearing an end. So, again, this can be, you know, trouble has a variance of sizes, I guess. But it doesn't feel big to me because you also have a lot of support. We have the card of birth, so oh, say you want to do something and you can't quite find the energy for it. I think it's because something's gestating and look where you've been. Sorry, just a second. Negotiations and victory. So again, I guess something might just be a little slower this month. That's okay. This is actually an adjustment point to you. It's a blind spot point. So something shifts. We have inheritance and prudence. If you need any, if a person needs advice about anything, it's right there. It's like if a person tried to do something maybe all on their own would also be part of the hindrance. It's just like, no, I'll do it. I'll deal with it myself. Like, if it gets stubborn like that, so I feel like someone's also waiting for the right time. If you have been having any issues in ways of your partnerships at all, like love, I sense that those issues are also coming to an end. If there was any kind of weird feeling, it's like anxiety has lessened about something. Because someone let go of an expectation. In the negative sense. Not hope. Not hope. Hope is, I heard hope is always here. Right? That's an absolute necessity. Because otherwise we fall into the pit of fear. Right? So again, I see, what games are you playing? What's the main game you play day to day? Who are the players in that? For some reason, I feel the need to express, because the cards that keep coming up, although they're specific, because it's repetitive, I feel the need to pay attention to it. And it feels kind of literal, where I would be prudent. This month. And I suppose there could be something that happens that could be expensive this month. Depends. We're talking to a lot of people, but because when we want to say repair something, keep something going, a person's willing to put in their energy into it, their money, their time into it. Right? That matters. That's part of what makes it happen. Oh, I guess the undercurrent of this, to close this out, I guess the undercurrent of what I'm seeing is also a... somebody has a little bit of poverty mentality. Like, they feel like, oh, I'll never get out of this neighborhood. Like, oh, I can't ever... I don't know how to shift from this to that. It's like a new... like, because it's a new environment, it's a new game. Right, new players, all these things. So I heard, believe that you are allowed to have nice things. And I keep seeing something unfolding. Like, kind of infinitely unfolding. Did we talk about origami? Oh, there we go. So whatever we just said there then creates victory and justice. And in ways of the timing this month, I suppose you could expedite something if you wanted to, but I guess you would have to sacrifice to make that happen, right? You would have to give more of yourself and to others to make it happen. So I would just check in with maybe your timing and how does that affect your concept of time. What's that about? I sense you're also sensitive in this month. You could also intuitively be picking up on other people's stuff, but it's not quite obvious at first, too. So it's kind of like dipping your toes in and then coming back into you. That's what, because then you received absolute harmony and usefulness. That's a lot better than the separation of love, right? And if, when somebody, I keep seeing it where someone's just like, that they're bored, that they say that they're bored or they don't want to do something or something like that, but someone's making it more into a fun game, right? Remember, be like, oh, waiting? I have to wait? And it's like, well, this is fun. Yeah, support. That'll help. Okay. Yeah, Union, and the support card is Libra. That's cool. So I guess remember you're building upon that too. So maybe someone new comes to help you too. All right. I'm going to leave that like that, Virgo. I hope this was helpful. These cards are so strong. Yeah, I hope that was helpful. Thank you for being a part of this place. It's exciting. What are you wanting to create this year? I heard please make sure that it involves like how you want to feel in general, regardless of all the bits, you know? Okay. Take care of yourselves. Talk to you later. Peace.